So, how about that Signal group chat, everybody? All right. Okay. I actually don't know how long this video will be. It might be super short as hell. That'll give me time to also record my review for a working man. But let's get into it. Okay. Because I don't have a lot to say about this, actually, because it's so fucking insane. And also, the key takeaways are not complicated because there's so many things going on here that are wrong. If you somehow live under a rock and are not aware of what is going on, and if you do know what's going on, you can probably skip ahead a little bit to get to my actual key points on this. What happened was essentially some dumbasses in the Trump administration started a Signal group chat to which they accidentally added a journalist. Accidentally or self-sabotage. Who knows at this point, but let us continue. However, it turned out that this Signal messaging app, which is an encrypted messaging app, meaning that there are no records that exist outside of the messages that these gentlemen have received, or at least that is my understanding. I'm not a tech genius. Essentially, they were plotting and planning a series of bombings in Yemen against the Houthi pirates who have been attacking trade ships in their support of Palestine. And they added a journalist to the group chat. A journalist from a paper that does not get along with the administration, too. Like, how does that fucking happen, guys? That's like adding Voldemort to your group chat. That's like putting on the ring. That's like if Frodo just forgot to take off the ring for long periods of time, so Sauron always knew where he was. Like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have that person's number to begin with, that you could add them to Signal even? So many questions. But the point is that they basically, that reporter got a live series of updates as Yemen was bombed, confirming to him that it was not just an elaborate disinfo, but in fact the real deal, the real McCoy, as they used to say. I actually don't know what that's a reference to. Oh well. The group chat contained 19 members, including these plus a CIA officer whose name the Atlantic withheld because they're an active CIA officer. Side note, no, I was going to say the CIA should know better, but this is exactly the kind of shit the CIA would do. And for exactly the reasons they probably did it. The group's night. Walker Barrett, professional staff member for the House Armed Service Committee, Republicans. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. By the way, did you know Tulsi Gabbard is in a weird, like, Hare Krishna-based Hindu cult? Yeah, look into it. Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, the guy in the wrong group chat at the right time. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Dan Katz, Chief of Staff for the Secretary of the Treasury. Joe Kent, Acting Chief of Staff for Director of National Intelligence and nominee for National Counterterrorism Center Director. Jacob, Identity Unknown. Could be anybody. Hell, that could be someone they added by accident too. We don't know who he is. But he's not the CIA agent, apparently. Brian McCormick, Chief of Staff for the National Security Council, White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller. Mike Needham, Special Advisor and Consultant on Foreign Policy Issues for the Department of State. Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Ratcliffe. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Little Marco. White House Chief of Staff Susie While United States Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who I believe is the guy who fucked this all up, Principal Deputy National Security Advisor Alex Wong, and of course, Vice President J.D. Vance. And the whole thing is honestly hilarious, but also terrifying for a handful of reasons. But here's some key points that I thought of that are my basic opinions on this topic and what you can take away from it. Okay, thing number one. The main reason that you would do this, which, by the way, you're not supposed to do this kind of thing, is to get around a FOIA request or Freedom of Information request, meaning that they are deliberately hiding information specifically from you, the public. That is the purpose of using this instead of an official government communication service, because those types of communications, especially on topics like this, would normally be publicly available information through a FOIA request. Now, there would, of course, be redactions based on national security in those FOIA requests, but technically speaking, those FOIA requests should be available, would normally be available for this type of war planning. So by using Signal, they are, in fact, hiding all this information from FOIA. You can't get, if this had not leaked, you would never be able to get this documentation, which means that they are hiding shit. We don't know how many other Signal chats exist where they didn't add a fucking reporter. We just don't know. We don't know. Could be a lot, could be a little. Who knows? We don't know what else they could have these chats for. This might not even be the only chat service they're using. So that's all stuff you should be worried about. Second of all, this is a felony. Like, straight up. This is a felony. But the hilarious part about it is it's a felony because of Donald Trump. You see, this thing that's happening right here, this is almost exactly what Donald Trump said that Hillary Clinton should go to jail for. This is mishandling of government secrets. Mishandling of classified government information used to be classified as a misdemeanor. Which means even if Hillary Clinton had been found guilty, it would have been a slap on the wrist. Probably. But here, Donald Trump specifically turned that into a felony. So in the event that he could more easily try and get Hillary convicted or some shit, I don't know, but he decided through executive order to make that a felony. So by his own law, his own executive orders, these people are now felons, or at least should be felons. This should be a convictable offense. And honestly, I don't know exactly who would be the one found liable for this. I mean, technically speaking, in my mind, it's everyone who joined the group chat except, of course, the reporter. Now, maybe you could make an argument that this should primarily fall on Mike Waltz, but I don't even know for sure that he started the group chat. I just know that he added the reporter. But whoever started the chat, definitely a felon. Definitely a felony. Will Trump do anything about it? Probably not. Probably not. He's going to try and sweep this under the rug. The rumors are that he is already furious that people are still talking about it, which is the entire reason I made this video. Just to talk about it more. So that people don't forget that these guys, under Trump's own rules, are felons by the standards set or I should say modified by Trump, because this used to be a misdemeanor, these are now felonies. We're looking at felonies. This is a list of felons and a reporter. So, like, those are the two main things that I want you to remember going forward. It should worry you that they would do this at all. And by Trump's rules, a felony. So remember that, America. That's what's going on here. That's the thing, you know? It's also just funny as hell. Honestly. Before anyone in the comments is like, hey man, Signal was installed on their computers. They thought that made it official, blah, 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 blah. That would not make it legal to use Outlook Express to send government documents. And Outlook Express is on every PC ever made. It wouldn't make it okay for your phone, for you to use Google from an Android phone just because Gmail was already pre-installed on your Android. There still would be actual government programs you would be supposed to be communicating through. You know, stuff that could be documented for FOIA. All right. So like I was saying, those are the two big takeaways. They're hiding shit, and this is illegal. I mean, it would still be illegal if it was a misdemeanor, but it wouldn't be, but like, not really as big of a deal. Politically, I mean. All right. That's literally all I have to say on that. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful whatever, wherever, whoever you are. Oh, and like and subscribe and that shit.